different. Let's get our friend Tone in here, the segment.
Big Sileo, how you feeling, sir?
Hey, man, this is one of the beautiful things that I love about you too, man, because I'm like this, man. Hey, team 13 wins. It's a 13 and 14, man. It's really great. How'd the season end? And they got bumped in the opening round of the wild card game. They didn't win their division. Okay, great.
Hey, listen, man. It's funny you brought up, they keep bringing up the 21-1 thing, right? And it's a cool story, right?
It is.
It's cool to talk about.
It's a cool story where Hurts came from to have that.
Right. Like I bring that up to discuss the distance traveled, right? Jalen Hurts is a guy who was not thought to be what he is now, but he's here and he's thriving. So we love that about him. And as Eagles fans, we want to continue to prop up our guy. So I understand the angle Eagles fans are taking with it, right? 21-1, this guy's a winner. He dominates. He hasn't lost a road game. He's like 10-0 on the road in his past 10 road games. He's the man. It's exciting. I love to debate it with my friends. That's where you use that, right? But at the end of the day, when it comes down to did the Eagles win the Super Bowl or did they lose the Super Bowl? What's your answer, Eagles fans? We lost. So again, 21-1, cool story, bro. But at the end of the day, man, we're trying to win the war. We're not trying to talk about battles we won. We're trying to talk about wars we won.
Absolutely.
Just that simple.
All right, the Carter and Slay injury. You said that it looks like Fletcher's playing, which is a huge thing here. Does that add more to the concern for this game here? Because, again, the one thing the Jets do fairly decent, when I look at their number here, 123-2 rushing per game that the Jets had, and they're 11th doing that. The only thing that's been different, Tone, from the last 2 years has been the addition of Carter versus the run. With him not being in there, I'm not saying they're not going to be, because Davis has played unlike he did a year ago, so he's still going to be a force in there. But does that give you any concern there, the fact that they're 11th running the ball?
So I look at it like this, right? Yes, the Jets are 11th running the ball, but we have to take into consideration who were the teams that they were running up against, right? The Bills. The Bills aren't necessarily the most stout run defense team. They're ranked 16th in terms of giving up the run with 116 yards per game. The Cowboys, we all know what that looks like, right? The Cowboys are not a team that's necessarily the stoutest at stopping the run. They're ranked 10th, but we all know what that really looks like off the paper, right? We know if you run at the Dallas Cowboys defensive line,
yeah, because it's fool's gold on what happened with those 2 New York games out of the gate. That's why the Cowboy numbers are so good right now, Tone, because they killed those 2 teams. They had like 92-0 or 92-10, whatever it was. So those Dallas Cowboy numbers, in my opinion, are misleading.
Yes. Do you still have me? I know my signal's kind of dropping a little bit. Do you still have me?
Yeah, I got you. We're good.
Okay. All right. Another team that they went up against is not really good at stopping the run. The Broncos. The Broncos are one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now.
They are last.
Right. The Broncos, if I'm not mistaken, let me make sure I got this right. In terms of run defense. Excuse me. Rushing yards per game. Broncos are not one of the better teams at all. Broncos are, where are they? At the bottom. 30 ranked 32nd. By the way,
good this year in.
Yeah. By the way, I actually have my numbers wrong. Buffalo was actually ranked 25th in terms of stopping the run. Denver is ranked 32nd in terms of stopping the run. The Dallas Cowboys, they're still Dallas. They're ranked 21st in stopping the run. How can I respect the team that puts up the rushing yards that the Jets do, when in reality the teams they've gone up against in terms of stopping the run can't stop the run? You know what I mean? Every team they've gone up against has been in the bottom half of the league in terms of stopping the run. So therefore, are those rushing yards fool's gold? They can't even get Dalvin Cook going.
I agree with you. I agree with you to a point, but you're taking your top run defender out of the game.
That's true.
And you have not been an elite run-stopping defense for 2 years. And now you're taking – I'm not saying the other guys haven't improved the run. Like Milton Williams, Fletcher, and Jordan
Davis
have all contributed to it being better. However, those guys were there last year. And now with Carter not there, you kind of look at it like this. I agree. They're better. They're going to be better no matter what.
Here's my counter. The Jets are missing, I believe, 2 of their starting offensive linemen. 2 of them are questionable. They're missing Elijah Vera Tucker. They're missing another guard. They're missing another tackle as well. Mekhi Becton is questionable. Another tackle is questionable. So their offensive line is pretty much piecemealing it up. So that's pretty much my counter to that. Yes, they are missing Jalen Carter, but the Jets offensive line, they have some problems as well. So I think at some point the rubber has to meet the road, and I think the Eagles win that battle.
How about this with Slay being out and the fact that your pass defense is 25th?
I'm concerned about that for the simple fact that I do expect the Jets to try to get that ball out of his hands early. So on top of that, the Eagles aren't a team that's really known for playing too much press. So are they going to allow Zach Wilson to try to beat them underneath? Maybe.
I might let that happen because get this.
I don't trust him on a 13-play drive. I don't trust Wilson on a 13-play drive there.
And that's where I would say this to you, Tone.
Yeah.
I'd still play him back, and here's why. Somewhere out of a 10-play sequence, he's going to throw a pick because he's just not good enough. And I'll play you in between the 20s with maybe a lack of not having an all-pro corner out there, and we're a little light in the D-line now.
So you
maybe
think the
I'll
Eagles
play
are going to
pitch and
force him to
catch
make
with
throws?
you because I don't think that guy can beat them.
So you think the Eagles are going to force him to make throws?
That was going to be my next question. Do you think you blitz him more, or do you blitz him less and just rely on him? Because why should I make the gamble of blitzing and making the gamble of a change when that guy hasn't proven anywhere in his career that he can beat teams? It's been flashy, spotty at best. Okay, Bills, few games last year, but it's been all over the place. I don't think that guy could be in a consistent drive and win. I just don't think he could put up a 7. Does that guy look like he could come off, and that offense look like he could come off on a 12-play drive and put up 7 points on that Eagle defense, even without those guys?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe it either.
I honestly don't even think that he can sustain drives. They can't sustain drives, right? The only thing that their offense is truly holding on to is their ability to run the ball. And I think the Eagles are going to be able to limit that. Will they be weaker because they're missing Carter? Absolutely. But at the same time, I don't trust Zach Wilson to be able to sustain a 10, 12, 14-play drive on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm willing to bet Nick Sirianni and Sean Desai say, you know what? We're not going to blitz at all. What's going to happen is we're going to rush 4, and we're going to force him to drive this entire field. And we're going to allow our playmakers to make plays on defense, and eventually he's going to either fumble, throw an interception, or it's going to be a 3-and-out. He's not going to be able to sustain 10, 12, 13-play drives for 60 minutes. He's not going to be able to do it.
You run the ball at this team, don't you?
Yes. I want them to prove to me that they can stop my running attack, which I don't believe they can. I'm running right at Quentin Williams. I'm running right at all those guys. I want to test their fortitude.
146.2 of all the things that the Jets don't do. That's got to be one of the most disturbing since you just gave that guy $25 million annually. And you're giving up 146.2, and we're being told, by the way, remember what we were talking about with Sauce Gardner on what a great year he had last year? Mm-hmm. Hoss, you're giving up right now, your pass defense is 14th. I was told this was going to be a generational defense. When I look at the numbers, you're 29th in rush defense, you're 14th in pass defense. You're giving up 21 points. It's not too awful, 14, because you're kind of round in there a little bit.
Right.
But, dude, 146.2, if that's me, Tone, I'd run that ball 30, 40 times with them because I do not believe. I think you soften them up, and I think you force them into submission.
Exactly. You know, I'll do everything in my power to really actually – I'm going to make it where Zach Wilson barely even sees the field because we're going to be beating them up so much on the line of scrimmage. We're going to sustain 13, 14-play drives lasting 8, 9, 10 minutes. I mean, there's no reason why the Philadelphia Eagles should overthink this matchup. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of matchup that you just want to get through. You don't want to get into a gun show with the Jets, right? You want to get in and get out and move on to next week.
Absolutely. Do you run Jalen a lot in this game?
No need. Why? I don't think so. I mean, if he's back there, if he's back there in the pocket and he's ready to pass the ball, but things break down and no one's open, okay, Jalen, make something happen. But as far as design runs, I don't see the need in trying to put. See, this reminds me of that Bears matchup from last year. Think about it. You're going up against a team that has no shot in hell in making any kind of noise. Why put your quarterback in harm's way and lose him in a game that kind of lose him in a matchup that doesn't necessarily matter. You get what I mean? I mean, like at the end of every win matters, right? Even that Bears win mattered. But what I'm saying is,
I got it.
You lost Jalen to the Bears, right? I'm not going to lose Jalen Hurts to the Jets. I'm going to rely on my running game. I'm going to rely on my running backs to get physical. Now, am I going to do a brotherly shove here and there if I'm in the short yardage? Okay, but I'm not going to put my quarterback purposely in harm's way against the New York Jets. I need him against the Miami Dolphins. We already see the injury bug is already starting to take effect on this Philadelphia Eagles team, mainly been on the defensive side, but that doesn't mean Jalen Hurts is exempt. Remember, he had that run last week. It looked like his knee blew for a second, but that man is an Iron Man somehow. But nonetheless, I'm not going to sacrifice Jalen Hurts for a Jets matchup. Go in. Don't overthink it. They suck at stopping the run. Use DeAndre Swift. Use Kenny Gainwell. Rely on your offensive line and go home. I don't even care about the score. My score prediction is 28-17.
That's that's where I'm at. I'm at 28-16 for that game. And again, the only reason, Tone, that I'm that, I guess, for a shitty team to still be kind of close is just because they haven't shown me their ability to put teams away. And that leads me to this. You know, it's funny. How could a team be considered a power team? And I consider the Eagles a power team, and I consider them a very physical team. But how come they're not physical in the red zone? That, to me, it just doesn't make sense that you're second in the NFL in rushing, right? You're second in rushing, and it's got to be a personnel issue because you said this. Well, I'm not going to run Jalen. Okay. Well, they don't really even like to run Swift down in the red zone, which means they really don't have a guy. And I heard people saying this. Well, maybe they're saving Penn. You don't save anybody, dude. Yeah, it's about winning ball games Sunday. It's not about winning.
Right.
Nobody thinks about winning a game 3 months from now. Nobody thinks about that. They think about what they're doing 2 minutes from now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I actually put the red zone issues more so on play calling than personnel. I look at this team from top to bottom on offense. There's no reason why you can't get Dallas Goedert the ball in the end zone. There's no reason you can't get AJ. You got those big body guys like AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert back there. I don't understand why you can't, especially if you're in like a second and goal, third and goal situation, right? I'm not saying you don't try to run the ball with your running back. Give DeAndre Swift a chance. I'm not saying he's a red zone back, but give him a chance. If he's showing you that he can't get 5 yards or whatever, okay, pass the ball. You have Dallas Goedert. Those big bodies can box out anybody back there. I don't know why they're overthinking this thing. I'm tired of seeing design runs in the red zone with Jalen Hurts. It's too compact. It's too much junk down there for me to get him involved in that kind of situation. If you're on the goal line, if you're at the 1 yard line, okay, brotherly shove it. But other than that, if you're at the 5 yard line, at the goal line, 5 yards out, and it's third down, I'm passing the ball. I'm not running the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they overthink it down there. Stop putting Jalen Hurts in harm's way when you really don't have to. I'm not trying to change his game, but what I am saying is I put it more so on play calling. If you really pay attention, it seems like the play calling is pretty decent up until they get to the red zone. It seems like they get into their own way. So I put it more on play calling rather than personnel. You got too many talented guys in that offense for it to be personnel.
The brotherly shove it. I'm starting to like that one all of a sudden too. Way to go. Tone, I'll tell you, if what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to red zone, what do you think is the biggest problem that a lot of coordinators have with the red zone? What do you think becomes an issue why you're doing different things down there?
Real estate.
That's right. The back of the end zone, because you don't have the field to operate.
Right.
And a lot of plays are designed with space. And today's coordinators are guys that like to spread you out immediately. Well, you can't do a lot of spreading out of anybody. And the defenders have another defender. They have the back of the end zone. So you're really playing down in the red zone an additional defender. You got 12 defenders back there now versus 11. So it's really 12 versus 11 because you can't do the things and you're confined to small space areas. That's the one problem that the offense has, or it has been having, is because they haven't been able to get the ball to Goddard. Goddard is a close proximity type of player. Block and release, get the ball to him. And to me, getting the ball last week to Swift and to Goddard, that proximity of that small space, I think it benefits them. And for me, down in the red zone, I'm not going to the big wideouts. I'm going to Goddard or I'm going to Swift.
I'm with you on
that.
Let's
just see what these guys can do. That's been the problem for Brian Johnson, in my opinion, is that the back of the end zone has been a problem for him because, he's so used to wanting to get, so everyone's spread out, AJ open, Devontae open. You don't have that luxury down there inside that red zone. So you have to have a completely different play calling down there.
Yeah, red zone play calling has been so shaky and it's been highly questionable. I mean, we see why Jason Kelce was upset last week. Obviously, he was mad that the plays are coming in late, but I also think he's frustrated by the way the red zone offense has just been looking. Like, it's so many questions down there. I think this has to be a game where you figure it out. You have the Miami Dolphins last week. This has to be a game where you go, if you have 5 red zone opportunities, you got to go at least 3 out of the 5 for touchdowns. You have to, because you have the Miami Dolphins last week and they take care of business and they run something sort of a fast break offense. They can score on you quick. So you have to take care of business.
How about what I said earlier about the running back position? Isn't it funny? I heard Emmitt Smith say this today. Emmitt goes like this, the running back position in the NFL, he's like, at the expense of the running back being developed, you always say this about your young quarterback. Well, we've got to rely more on the run game. We have to get the running game going so that the quarterback can come along. Using the running back to develop your quarterback, yet you devalue the running back position. And to me, what's happened in this league is that teams have become finesse teams. There's really only 2 bullies, like we said yesterday. It's the 49ers and it's the Eagles, okay? If you're not running the ball, and you brought that stat up, I mean, all those teams that aren't running the ball, they're not winning. And if you can't run the ball on a consistent basis, when I watched Kansas City last night, do you know what I think the best part of that team is? Is the development of Pacheco. He looks like a player, man. But I'll tell you what, because they're not physical, I think Kansas City's more beatable than they've ever been in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I like what Kansas City's doing with Pacheco. I was watching some of that game last night. I was going back and forth between the Phillies and the Braves, and they're getting him involved not only in the run game, but they're getting him involved in the passing game as well. I can't remember the exact number, but I'm pretty sure Pat Mahomes completed a pass to about 10 different receivers yesterday, and that includes wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. They're trying so hard to get some off. They're trying so hard to generate some offense. They're digging to the 3rd running back, to the 4th or 5th wide receiver, the 2nd or 3rd. They're trying so hard to get offense generated, and it's hard, man. But regardless, man, the running back like DeAndre Swift with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? He's a weapon, right? He's a weapon. You got to utilize him to to his fullest capability. He's not going to be back next year, so you might as well just run him to the wheels fall off.
Absolutely. All right, couple last ones here.
Yes, sir.
Cowboys versus the Chargers. What happens?
What do I want to happen? Or
No. I know what you want to happen. What happens?
I heard this stat earlier on Sports Take. Apparently, the Cowboys are 9-1 after a loss since like 2010 or 2011. It's a weird year, but basically they're 9-1 after losses over the past several years. That's a pretty interesting stat. But I think this is a game where the Chargers can catch them slipping again. I spoke about it earlier. That 49ers loss, that kind of loss can either do one or two things to you. It can either elevate you and remind you of what's important, or it can be the beginning of the end. I believe it's the beginning. I believe it's the beginning of the end. I think the Chargers win that game 26-21.
I agree. How about this last one here? What's your take on Deshaun Watson?
Yeah. All right. I'll try to make this as politically correct as possible. You know what? Forget that. You cannot be guaranteed your entire contract, and they cleared you. They cleared you. They said you're good to go. You're good. You're good for action. Time to go. Yeah, but it still doesn't feel right, dude. Listen. We saw Joe Burrow. We saw Joe Burrow going out there playing on one leg, basically, and they pretty much weren't the same team, but they're slowly starting to figure it out. It was the Cardinals, but they're slowly starting to figure it out. My point is, he went out there and balled. Deshaun Watson, you cannot be doing this to your team when they need you. Let's be totally honest. The AFC North is for the taking.
Absolutely,
it's for the taking. And I honestly think he saw who was on the card. He saw the 49ers on the card. He saw what they did last week to the Cowboys. I think he's making a business decision.
Oh, so he saw Khabib coming into town and didn't want no piece of that, right?
Hey, listen, I saw Khabib in I forget where he is. I forget where he's from, Turkey or something like that. I don't know, but I saw Khabib in the woods wrestling a damn bear, a grizzly bear.
It was Russia,
man. Those 49ers did a real deal, and I'm
gonna smash your boy.
I think Deshaun Watson made a business decision, man. There's no way you don't play that game knowing the division is for the taking, knowing you guys need some wins. It's not a good look, man. I don't like it. You got your money. Man. It's not like you're playing for a contract. Go out there and play, dog.
I'm gonna smash your boy. Hey. He said that about Conor McGregor, man. I was
my God. Could be one of the best ever, man.
And he did. I'm going to smash you, boy. Hey, thank you very much, Tone. I appreciate it, my friend.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you as always, my friend.
You got it. That is our great friend, Tone, with the segment. Hey, also, our good friends at Hooters, do me a favor. Football tonight, Colorado versus Stanford. Saturday, college football. Sunday, NFL. Monday, NFL. Go to any one of the 7 locations nearest you in the Northeast area. NortheastHooters.com. Find that location. Go in and enjoy what I've been talking about for the 40th anniversary. Fall football and Hooters. They go together. Synonymous with football. Absolutely. Do me a favor also. Go to the app if you don't want to go in. HootersToGo.com. Got to try some of the fabulous items on the menu. Tuesdays, buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, all you can eat. Kids eat for free on Saturdays. Great happy hour specials. NortheastHooters.com. That's NortheastHooters.com when you roll into any one of the facilities. Do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.